Facebook, Instagram. Okay. So I'm coming here today to talk to you guys about separation and elevation, and how elevation generally will require some sort of separation in some level of your life, whether it's from your family or from your friends, from your neighborhood, like the music you listen to, the food you eat. You need to be able to separate and break these attachments to what you know. What you know is simply and only what you know, right? And you can't really get past what you know without going outside of it. So you need to be able to separate from that, no matter how close or no matter how important or how precious you think something is in your life, or how precious someone is to you. You need to eventually move on and move past it. Hey, just Pamela. Hey. And so I'm going to talk about separation and elevation. And I'm saying this because we all want to grow, and we all want to have, hey, Mom, we all want to grow, and we want to have these moments of being completely, stern and solid and like whole, have our emotions under control, have our thoughts under control, and not have our life be a shit show and us be subject to our environment. We don't want to have something happen in the environment and us freak out and react to that. We want to be able to respond in a way that's thought out. And we struggle with that because we don't have the ability to control our emotions and our thoughts and how things play out for us in that way. And if everybody could do this, if everybody could have this self-mastery, as I call it, if everybody could grow so easily, everybody would be doing it. And they're not, which means that shit is hard, right? We want it so bad, but it is hard. And if everybody can't do it, that means that we can't be around everybody. If this is something we want for ourselves, we can't also be around everybody. We have to then separate from what the masses are doing and what everyone else is doing so that we can then go and do what other people can't, right? So we can then go control our thoughts and our emotions and master ourselves and how we respond to our environment. And it takes a lot. Think about a seed. When you think about a seed, right? So seeds are in the ground, they're in the dirt, and their soil is a big factor on how it will grow, and how it'll flourish, and how it'll be fruitful, if it will or not. So our soil, our environments that we are originally in, has a large bearing on how we develop. And if we stay there, then that's our destiny, right? So we have to be able to sort of move past and out of this soil, right? Past the rocks, past the grass, into the sunlight, right? I like that. I just came up with that on my own. So I like that. And so if you're thinking about how to get past these things, you have to get past the things that you're really, really attached to. Think about those roots of the seed or the roots of the plant or the soil. Like, you really have to get past and through all that to get what you want, to become that flower that we eventually know that we have to get to. And this idea of self-mastery is, you really have to be able to see yourself in different environments to know who you are and how you respond to things really. You can't just see yourself at home. You can't just see yourself at school. You need to move past all these things. There's a lot of hearts going on Facebook. I like this. You have to really move past what you know. Again, I'll say you only know what you know. And you have to be okay with the unknown. You have to be okay with the uncertainty. You have to be okay without the control, like without knowing. You have to be okay with these things in order to get to a space or a point in your life where you can handle them. If you only stay in a space where you know and you're safe, you can't grow, right? So you got to be able to go to places where you're unsure and you're scared and there's fear there. You must walk into that fear and be comfortable enough with that. That fear has to be a signal. Like, we tell ourselves what our emotions mean, right? We tell ourselves narratives about what our emotions mean. And if we tell ourselves that this new job, or if we tell ourselves that this person may be a threat, then that's what we are going to believe. But if we feel this uncertainty, if we tell ourselves a different story, this is an opportunity for me. or this is something that's this is a lesson, right? This is happening for me, not to me. Say it all the time. This is happening for me, not to me. So we have to, once we identify what we're feeling, and then we then separate what we're telling ourselves about the feeling, because we have habits, this default thing of telling ourselves that a certain narrative about a feeling that we have, because that's what we've been doing for 30 years of our life. If I feel this feeling, this generally means that this is going to happen, and that's not always the case, right? That's not always the case. It will be if we continue to tell ourselves that. So we have to feel this feeling and then say, wait, no, this doesn't have to mean that. This can also mean this. This can mean something different. And then we start to make different associations. We start to fire our brain in different ways around this feeling. This feeling is really what sets things off. We have this feeling, and then we tell ourselves things, and it's just it can be a shit show that we then feel like we don't have control over, but really it's all going on like this. We have control over that, and that's where self-mastery starts to become a big factor. So we really have to get out of the environment where that's not happening, because again, like I said, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, and they're not for a reason, because the shit is hard. So if we keep ourselves in the environment where we have the same habits, and we watch our parents react the same way, we watch our friends react the same way, we watch our coworkers react the same way, we eat the same foods, we listen to the same music, we do all this stuff that's the same, we cannot grow, right? So we must separate from all that stuff so that we can elevate to some new shit that we want in our lives. We want all these things, but we don't want to do the work to get it. And there's direction. So we live our lives in the same way, and there's no direction on where we're going or where we want to go. So we have to be able to go into that fear and go into that uncertainty and tell ourselves different stories about what's in our lives so that we can create something different within our lives. I also like to say creation through transformation. We really have to change what's going on. Not just change. We really have to transform how we think and how we feel about things so that we can create some long-term effects within our lives. And that's really what we're going after. So separation is a good thing. I want us to think of separation as a good thing. Like, you don't have to hold on to things in our lives forever. That's a lot of baggage, right? We can't carry things with us throughout our whole lives. That's completely impossible. Think about trying to move across the country and carry your whole house with you. You can't do it. As beautiful as your house may be, as beautiful as the flowers might be, as beautiful as the sidewalk or the tile, you can't bring that shit with you. And if you want to move on, you have to take what's necessary. Take what you love, take what's needed, and then you go on. So those things can then help you later on. And so when you think about taking what's needed, all these things that we think of as issues or problems, those things, think of those as needed, because those are the lessons. Those are things that are going to help you then go where you need to go in life and not repeat the same thing, right? When you see an issue or when you see a problem, be thankful that this is something else that's helping you determine where you want to go in life, right? That contrast. When you see what you don't want, you know what you do want. So if I see what I don't want, if I'm interacting with somebody that I don't want, if I get a feeling that I don't want or that I'm uncomfortable with, guess what I then know? And this is probably something I want to avoid later on. How can I start to avoid this later on? That's what you want to start to work on, right? That's what you want to start to embody. Right? Knowing this is happening for me, not to me. If we have this mentality that things are happening to us, then we can't control it and we can't change it. If we know this is happening for us, if you look for how this is helping me, how this is going to better me, how can I use this? That's all you want to know. Like, how can I use what's happening to me? What's happening for me? How can I use what's happening for me later on in life? That's the most important thing. We can't just respond to everything in our environment. I was listening to Sadhguru. I love Sadhguru. I love him so much. And he was saying yesterday, that, we go through life like like we're driving a car and like the emotions are like the pedals and like it's a really jerky ride. We just respond to everything. So we go outside and somebody says, oh, this is such a beautiful shirt, you're such a beautiful person, and then you're driving smooth, and then you go home and then somebody says the complete opposite and then you're all jerky again. And we don't want to respond to our environment in that way. We want to make sure that the smoothness that our ride comes from within, and we're impenetrable, unaffected by our environment. And a lot of that comes from acceptance. So not trying to change everything. Like that smooth ride that we want to get is going to come from acceptance of what's happening. You just accept it. Know that this is happening outside of you, right? It doesn't mean anything about you. Don't take it personal. Be detached from it. And then you see how you can use this later on, but you don't internalize it. You don't make it your own. It shouldn't change how you feel about yourself or what you do with your day. You want to make sure that you have a smooth ride and that you're the one driving that car, not someone else. Make sure it's not your fear driving the car. The fear can be in the passenger seat. The fear can be in the back seat. The fear can be in the trunk. The fear could be tied to the roof. But you need to make sure that you're the person that is driving your car and making it a smooth ride for yourself. And that, when I heard him say it, he also said a lot of things, but I love Sabu for that. I think that was like a perfect visual of how we do go through life. And for some of us, it feels like that. It feels like we're in a car crash after car crash after car crash after car crash. When are we gonna learn to drive? When will we learn to actually drive this vehicle that we've been gifted, right? That's just fucking drive. Just drive. Things are in your scenery. Things are around you. It does not mean that you have to go toward it. It doesn't mean that you got to stop off. It might be bumps, but you just find your path again, right? Right? Drive your car. Hashtag mind your business, right? Just make sure your oil's, make sure you're good. Make sure you're getting what you need. Make sure the oil's changed. Make sure you have air in your tires. Make sure you are good and just drive your car, right? Whether somebody says something good to you or something bad to you or about you, it shouldn't affect you either way. It shouldn't affect you either way. If somebody says, oh, you're the greatest person in the world, thanks. And if somebody says you're a piece of shit, thanks, that's your opinion. It shouldn't go in here. It shouldn't go in here, right? It shouldn't be able to affect you so much to where your whole life or your whole day is then messed up and then you're interacting with other people and fucking up other people's day. That shouldn't be the case necessarily. So that is today. I came to you guys to talk about, LaToya said, not for me. Mind the business that pays you. What are you talking about, LaToya? What are you talking about? You don't want to mind your business? You being smart? You being sarcastic? What's happening? All right, she's not responding too fast right now. But I wanted to come to you guys and talk about how elevation will require separation from what you know, what you do, how you do it, why you do it. You have to go into the fear. You have to go into the unknown, be comfortable with it, and make a new narrative. Reframe what you normally tell yourselves. Oh, she was reiterating what she was saying. Good. She was reiterating what I was saying. Good. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, so I'm talking to you guys differently. So either way, that's it for tonight, guys. And I will come back to you again. And remember, think about that seed. Think about how that seed has to go through all the soil, all the rocks, all the grass, the sun, and weather to be that flower. You have to get through what you know. You have to get through the shit. You have to get through the hard stuff in order to really get to that self-mastery, in that place where you want to be, when you can control what's been happening with yourself. All right. So, yes, I will rewatch it and read. Thanks, guys. I will see you at another time.